Don't be like Henry Zabrowski or Ted Kaczynski.
Here's what Timothy Leary said about this Henry Murray guy. He said that Murray was the wizard of personality assessment who, as OSS chief psychologist, has monitored military experiments on brainwashing and sodium amytal interrogation. Murray expressed great interest in our drug research project and offered his support. Now, Murray, at the time that Ted Kaczynski ran into this guy, Ted Kaczynski was 17. He was lonely. He was away from home for the first time, trying to figure out
spoiled milk.
Reeked of spoiled milk.
And Murray's about 40 years old.
66.
66.
Murray is 66 and taking a lot of acid.
And there's the thing: if you're the head of if you're one of the senior chief members of the OSS, you got a head full of fucking acid 24/7. You're getting really creative.
Oh, very creative, very strange.
Yeah,
maybe he didn't even think that he smelled like spoiled milk. He just felt like he smelled like a fragrance that.
Mr. Kaczynski, I hate to say it, but you're the sweetest smelling boy I've ever met.
Oh, that's so crazy. I usually get told I smell like spoiled milk and my room's all messy.
Absurd. You must join the CIA.
So Ted came upon this guy, Henry Murray, through a psychological experiment that Murray told all the people involved in this experiment. They told, listen, all we're going to do is you're going to write an essay telling like all of your like most personal beliefs, the things that you believe about most strongly in this world, and we're going to put you in a room with another student, and you guys are going to debate. You're just going to have a friendly conversation. So what Murray did instead is he had all these students write essays, I'm talking like what was at the core of them. Right. And then he gave the essays to defense lawyers, and then would have the defense lawyers go into the room and just break these people down. Absolutely attack them psychologically and verbally and just destroy their entire ego.
While they're tripping balls on acid.
No, they weren't on acid.
Oh, I thought they were on acid.
No.
Can you imagine having a defense lawyer pick your brain apart while you're on acid? And
I think you might be able to win. If you're on acid and you're in the right mental headspace, I think you could beat a lawyer.
No, Murray was the only one on acid in this experiment.
I like
him just sitting there just beaming out of his head. He's like, those lizards are doing very well in there. And it's like, they're lawyers, sir. Yes, I said that. Lizards.
Yeah. And the environment was pretty messed up too. They took them into this room. They connected them to electrodes. Right. They faced them against all these bright lights in a one-way mirror, so they were forced to look at their reflection. And not only that, but they also videotaped them and then made the subjects watch the videotapes of their own psychological breakdown.
I love
That's the most difficult thing
I love
to do.
the term of their impotent rage. It made them watch their own faces showing signs of impotent rage, which is just like, I do that a lot in sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And it's funny to watch in sketch comedy, but you imagine you're real just having to watch like a home video of you just going like,
I don't know why, but I'm rock hard. It's very difficult to watch yourself in the first place, and then to watch yourself in your most emotional breakdown in that mental headspace. That had to be pretty difficult.
He was already emotional and stable when he got there.
the browbeating of these Harvard kids. Nowadays, the Harvard kids are treated like future gods of America.
Well, they all have like weird like Pan Asian names, and they're all like they got dreadlocks, and they all want to be like lawyers for dogs. It's a different place now.
But I do like the lawyers for dogs.
I'm a dog lawyer.
Yeah.
But what I also like about this experiment, it also comes up. My grandfather was trapped in a tunnel in Italy for 2 weeks, and he came out and he was sweet as it can be.
Right.
He had a secret family and he lied to my grandmother, but at the same time, that's normal. That was normal. Yeah. But he was like.
So what happened? He just like fell. He just like fell down a hole.
No, they were on a secret mission. They were going to kill Mussolini.
They sent the fattest of the troops.
He was a good soldier.
Killed Mussolini, and then he got stuck in a tunnel. I'm not picturing them like stuck because they couldn't they see the end.
I wish we had
just got stuffed in. Their grandfather's just stuffed in there.
I wish we had butter to release him from that hole, but that's consumed all the butter.
Yeah. No, that's dang.
So I know you're asking. We're talking about CIA. We're talking about LSD. We're talking about mind control techniques. The question on your mind right now, how does this tie into MK Ultra?
Right. I mean, the question on my lips is how it doesn't. It's not how does it. It's where does it.
Well, it is MK Ultra, right? This is the early phases of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was going on at the same time as MK Ultra.
Okay.
And there is not any evidence that directly links it to MK Ultra, but Murray was involved in MK Ultra, and between 1960 and 1966, the CIA funneled $456,000 to 13 Harvard programs and unnamed professors in the departments of psychology, philosophy, and social relations.
You mean to tell me they didn't get any of that cash? They got some of that cash.
Of course they did.
No, that was the whole idea. Is that everybody, when we were originally researching MK Ultra, most of these people didn't even know they were a part of the program. It was a bunch of people all operating for different shadow organizations that all were just funneling money through their universities so they could learn proper interrogation techniques.
So Kaczynski was, I mean, I guess by definition, he was a subject.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say like peripherally, he wasn't in the actual program, but the same people that were working on him are the same people that were working on MK Ultra and Project Artichoke and things like that.
It's like being
Project Artichoke.
This is like being on Mad TV instead of being on Saturday Night Live.
You're still on TV.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
still on TV, you're still doing sketch comedy,
but you don't get the premium brand name.
Right.
Yeah.
So, here's what's extremely ironic about this entire thing is the same techniques, these therapeutic techniques that Murray developed during this time, later on in the 70s and 80s, those exact same techniques were used to try to cure serial killers and other types of psychopaths.
I thought you were going to say create terrible rock and roll music. Because I think that also. So how would they kill serial killers and psychopaths?
Because you would use the defense attorneys to break down their
Oh, I see. Not the drug use so much, but just the strategy of mental breakdown.
Yeah, because in Kaczynski's experiment, again, there was no LSD involved. It was no drugs, Yeah, and they used these things.
And he was still 17 years old at this time?
He was 17,
It seems a little bit young to be breaking the mind. I mean, the mind's not done yet.
I had my mind pretty thoroughly shattered when I was doing mushrooms for the first time. That was about 18, and it was awesome.
Yeah, 18, 19 when you were in college. That's all right.
Yeah,
slightly different situation.
Yeah, you were also traipsing around Tallahassee.
Yeah, just go dancing around. I'm free
you weren't
flowing hair.
looking at yourself in a mirror. Although when you did take mushrooms that one time and you just stared at Chris Farley's picture and you're just like, "Tell me your secrets." That was similar.
That was different though, and that helped me.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was also like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in the inmates, of course, like they call these things, or the researchers call them dyads, but the inmates call them 100-day hate-ins.
100-day hate-ins?
Hate-ins.
Yeah, I mean, because
if it did that, and also they found that this just made the inmates worse. And if inmates, hardened fucking psychopaths and serial killers, if those people couldn't stand it, how do you think it's going to affect a 17-year-old social outcast in Harvard, away from home for the first time?
I think it's going to make him love humanity.
I'd like to think it put some hair on his knuckles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what he really needed. He needed to be whooped. Yes, he needs a good old-fashioned whooping.
I do want to know if this works for anybody. Anybody just like walked out of there just like, I'm a new man and I'm a a better person for it. That's probably a terrible experiment.
Probably like, this would be great for Ronald Reagan.
Ronald
Reagan, and made him the actor we know he is today.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, as soon as it was found out that Ted Kaczynski was a part of these projects, Harvard immediately sealed all the records.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Immediately. They were open before that, but no one really cared all that much.
Right. And they had to erase all the graffiti he wrote, like Ted was here, like that he had...
Ted for life, yeah.
So Ted, he graduated from Harvard at 20. He graduated from Harvard in 3 years.
Unbelievable.
Doing the most difficult mathematics that can possibly be done